Welcome to another Wall Street Informer production on WSI TV.
Welcome back into another episode of WSI TV. I'm Sean Bauer, Chief Editor of Wall Street Informer on wallstreetinformer.com. Now today joining me I have the man behind the scenes, our Operations Director, Mark Edwards. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Sean, for having me on the show today.
Absolutely. I know you were really excited to get into this topic here today because as you're behind the scenes working with customer service, you see all the questions coming in from our regular members. So we wanted to kind of take this from the beginner's perspective and talk about the first stages whenever you're just getting started. So do you have some questions you want to get started with?
I absolutely do. We have some hot off the press.
Great.
Here's the first one. John from California wrote in, I've decided to start investing in stocks myself, so what's the very first step?
Okay, well, as anybody who's already begun trading, as many of you have, and as we have ourselves, Mark, we know that the very first step is just going to be opening a trading account.
That's right.
And that's actually a step that trips up so many people because they just don't know the very first thing you need to do. And while we can't recommend a specific broker legally, I think you can help some people out here.
Oh, absolutely. If you go out to wallstreetinformer.com/brokers, there's a list of brokers there. It's not a recommendation to select any one particular, but you can go there and research yourself and pick and choose the ones that you'd like to go with.
Absolutely, and there's going to be something that's perfect for you. They all have their subtle, unique differences, but for the most part, most online brokers are the same. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question.
Our next question is from Mike from Texas. How much money do I need to get started?
Yeah, it's a great question and one we get all the time. What many people are surprised to find out is that you really only need as little as maybe a couple $100 to get started for most of these online brokerage accounts. And you have several options here. I know you wanted to talk about one here, Mark.
Actually, we get a lot of people who call up and say, we have no money to invest, but
Right.
that's okay because there's such thing as a cash margin account.
Absolutely.
If you get approved for it. And all you have to do is ask your broker to get more information about it.
Sure. And the other option here is, we know a lot of you out there are just getting started. You don't have much capital to start with right now. So a great option that you have is paper trading or virtual trading. This is something I think you and I both used ourselves, Mark, where you're basically doing pretend trades. It's basically everything you would do in a normal account.
That's
where
right.
You're trading real stocks in real time just with fake money. And this can be done through just about any online broker.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Jamie from New York emails, as a beginner, do you have any success shortcuts? Actually, we just discussed one, which was paper trading.
Yep.
It's very important that you paper trade first before you go with live money.
Absolutely. That's going to give you a sense of what sort of strategy you want to go with. Here at Wall Street Informer, through our different courses and systems, we give you several different options for these different strategies that we use. You're going to find one that you just latch on to, one that works perfectly for you. And using paper trading is a way to find that out without risking any of your own money. Another tip we always want to use, especially for beginners, is the stop loss order. Now all a stop loss order is it's going to close out your trade if the price falls to a certain level. The beautiful thing about a stop loss is that it protects any profits you've made and keeps you protected. So any loss that you do take is going to be very, very small.
Excellent. All right, well, let's move on to the next question. Francis from Florida asks, how much money should I put in any single trade?
Yeah, that's another big question we get all of the time. And while this is obviously going to vary from person to person,
Absolutely.
From trader to trader, we generally use the system where we take 1/10 of your capital and put it into any one trade. That's just sort of a rule of thumb for us here, although it's, like we said, going to depend on you as a trader and even an individual stock in that position, how much you want to put on it.
Excellent. Bobby O from North Carolina also writes in, what are some of the pitfalls you've dealt with in the stock market?
Yeah, great.
I know I've had some.
Absolutely, we all have if you've been in this long enough.
Yeah.
I would just, from personal experience, discuss emotion.
Yeah.
And this is something we talk about a lot here at WSI, but it's because it's so important. Emotion is your worst enemy as a trader. You want a system that you can stick to and be disciplined with your trading. Because I know I've certainly dealt with in the beginning where I start to take a small loss, and when my system tells me to close it out, my pride or whatever it is tells me, I can't take this loss here. I can't take the L. I need to get this back to break even at least. And then I just watch it fall and fall. That's something I really had to overcome myself.
Well, one for me was my emotions started to overtake me on one of my options trades, and I made the mistake of selling my option to market price, and what I was actually supposed to do was put a limit on the price.
Exactly. Yeah, that's something we can get into later on when we really discuss options. That's probably a little more advanced than the beginning stages. But at that market order, whenever there aren't a lot of volume there, it becomes a real problem.
Yeah, it does, especially when your stock goes and your option takes off, and you make a mistake like that. It's a very amateur mistake, but these are beginning pitfalls that you should watch out for.
Yeah, and that's just another point to make there is, you had showed, I remember that trade you're talking about.
Yeah.
It showed you an estimated actual gain on the trade.
Absolutely.
And then just by this one little accident, as it was, this little mistake, it turned into basically nothing. That's the sort of thing that can really throw a trader off completely to where he doesn't want to trade anymore even. So that's why, avoiding these pitfalls or knowing about them at least can actually really save you. All right, well that's wonderful. I think that's just about all the time we have for this episode of WSI TV. But I think this is a topic we're definitely going to expand on in future episodes. Before we wrap up, did you have any final comments you wanted to make, Mark?
Well, yes, actually, make sure you're paying attention to detail when you're trading, and always make sure you're following a trading system or some type of plan.
Absolutely.
And that's actually what WSI does. We have many trading systems. If you're liking to get more information, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Sure,
we're going to have a button at the top of this episode that you can see. Of course, to go to wallstreetinformer.com. But yeah, just to add to that note, the Codebreaker course that we offer, that was my start. I had zero experience before that, and it's brought me all the way here, where I'm making successful trades all the time. So that's a great point, Mark. Thanks for bringing that up. And thanks for joining us here today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and hopefully I can get back on soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here with us, and we'll speak to you next time.
Thanks for watching another Wall Street Informer production on WSI TV. Be sure to visit wallstreetinformer.com, where you can become a member for free and gain instant access to the secrets of market millionaires via the Wall Street Informer Vault. So go ahead and claim this gift for free now at wallstreetinformer.com.